All right, I think we're live here. My goodness, that was a process. StreamYard maybe go through like the whole 9 yards, no pun intended, but actually get this thing figured out. So I am happy I did figure it out. Thanks for joining. I don't know. I envision this show really being on like a Monday and just a quick market breakdown of what the Amex outright market is looking like, as well as just kind of go through one of our models and answer any questions you guys have about really any market or any golf or anything you want to talk about. It's kind of just a quick precursor to the rush that's always Wednesdays before the golf tournament. So thanks for joining. I am James. I think I will see comments on because I'm doing this on StreamYard, which goes to all three of them. So if you have a question, I guess DM me on either Instagram or Twitter. I'm gonna like try to find it and make sure I can get to it. But yeah, real quick, I guess I'll just jump right into it since I have the odd screen pulled up in front of me. There's no reason to like bury the lead. Let's just start with Scotty because he is the favorite. Right now he's at what is it, 300? 300 is the best number. FanDuel, Bet 365, MGM, all hang at 300s. He opened at plus 250. And the thing about Scotty is like clearly the market's bearish on him, which I get. The Amex has this perception that it's a putting contest, and putting is extremely volatile. Therefore, you shouldn't take the betting favorite, especially with this discourse out there that the Amex is, long shot haven, and that this is the place to get a guy who is going to be 100 to 1, 150 to 1, 300 to 1, whatever you might have it. Why would you go for Scotty? And I was looking at his past wins. I think he has 19 wins on tour. The last two times he won, well, I guess three times was, and I'm not talking majors, I'm talking strictly just normal PGA events. CJ Cup minus 31, I believe. The Pro Core in Napa before the Ryder Cup, that was minus 19, but it has the perception of being a shootout. So not exactly a US Open type setup. And then the Travelers before that, which was minus 22. So it's not like it's not like Scotty can only win on tracks that are extremely difficult or on tournaments that are going to end at, -5, -7, whatever it might be. So it's funny that everyone's so bearish when in reality, the last time he actually won a PGA Tour event, or I guess, yeah, Pro Core, and then the CJ Cup was ridiculous. I mean, that setup was, he blew away the field, but still, that is consistently under minus 23 winners. So it's kind of showing that the market isn't necessarily always going to be right on that. I do think it's a bad price. And that's another thing about Scotty Scheffler is what drives me nuts is this constant conversation of, is it smart to blindly bet Scotty Scheffler because he wins so much? And it goes back to how you perceive golf betting outrights, just as a general view. And you have to think like, yes, 300 to 1 or 3 to 1, excuse me, is a low price. But if you do run a model and your model tells you that he has a better implied win probability than 25%, which is what 3 to 1 is going to be, then you should still bet it, and vice versa. I mean, that's a reason why it's rare if we're ever on Scotty Scheffler, because it's so hard to justify taking a guy it's usually in strong fields because he plays in all the signature events and majors as well. And it's like, it's difficult to really get behind someone who has an implied win probability over 25% in those strong fields. And clearly that's what you're seeing with the market right now in a field where people think there's volatility is going to be your friend. So yeah, interesting. Again, he opened at 250 and now he's at 3 to 1. The person who's taking the most money, according to what I've saw now, and that's another thing we're going to work on with this site, I'm looking on it right now, is that I'd like to have like history of showing line movement, history of where someone opened and where it's gone, because that gives you the idea of what the market is perceiving that guy for that week and who's sharp and who's not. And that's another thing too, is I want to get like a sharp offshore book on here, because FanDuel, the Bet 365 is a joke. It's the softest book, around. FanDuel and DraftKings are still, halftime they're asleep at the wheel. So I want to get a sharp book that will give you an indication of, who is taking money in the market and is actually, moving these numbers and moving in the right place. So I have have it on here. I've got to pull up my phone. So McIntyre opened 28-1. He's 25. Siwoo Kim opened 50-1. He's now 35-1. That's a huge move. Hindley's pretty much staying consistent. He opened 25-1. He's 22-1. Going down the board a little bit. Vig opened 22-1, and now he's what, 27? Am I reading that right? Yeah, 25. No, 22, 25. Not much movement. And then Sam Burns opened 28, and he's pretty much consistent around there too, 27, 25, and 30. Yeah, let's see if there's any huge differences across books. I posted earlier. Let me find it. It was like the mid-range long shots. Daniel Berger, 45 and a 60. Davis Thompson, 55 and 80. 81. That's a great price on DraftKings, 80-1. I can't believe that. That's a bet it right now, just because I think I don't know. Let me see what Bet Online's hanging. That's usually a sharper book that will give you a good idea of where money's coming in and who's on what. Because 80-1 is just so off market. I wonder if that's 60. I'm going to check that too. Hold on 1 second. I'm bullish on Davis Thompson this week too, but I'm always bullish on Davis Thompson. I have a Davis Thompson addiction. It's because he always pops up so high in my proximity models that it's like hard to not justify putting money on him at the prices that he's usually at. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'm blinded by my love for Davis Thompson. He's 80-1 on Bet Online, which is, again, a sharper book. It's a better idea of what you're going to be, it's a better idea of where the sharp money is compared to these rec books that, quite frankly, post and don't move, or they limit everyone if they win. So, all right. Zalatoris. We're having a Zalatoris sighting here. 80. What did he do in Europe? I didn't even watch the South African Championship or whatever event that was. Let's see what he is on Bet Online. See if he's sharper. Oh no, 100-1. Yeah, I'm trying to find the biggest discrepancy of numbers from Bet Online to what we have here from the legal rec books on the U.S. Thor is an interesting one just because I know everyone loves Thor. Like, Thor is going to be the most bet guy this week. So he's 60-1 on Bet Online, 45 DraftKings, 45 FanDuel. Yeah, that's honestly a pretty fair price, I think. Be interesting to see where it lands. Because money really starts moving in on Wednesdays too, by the way, if you're new to looking at the golf outright market. Mondays and Wednesdays. Let's see Gerard. Gerard's 55-1. Where is he here? I don't even see him. Oh, there he is. 65-1, another good price. DraftKings. DraftKings is so soft right now. They were so soft last week too. It's crazy. They just post. It's crazy too because they were the first ones to market last week. Like, I was waiting because our stuff populates on FanDuel, so I'm waiting for FanDuel to populate everything, and they were so behind. They were like 3 days behind. DraftKings was the first one, I think, to the prop market too, and just post and forget. I mean, I was looking at group scores for a bunch of holes on Saturday and Sunday, and they still, it's insane. That was my next talking point. Is going to be like the edge I was talking about in the thread. A couple of you guys DM me, but it's mainly the setup for the AmEx is set up for amateurs, and it starts the Pro-Am run that we have on the PGA Tour. And when the amateurs are playing with these pros, the first 3 days, I think it's been consistent. That's what they've done the last 3 years. That it's basically like, all right, you guys go have fun, hit and giggle for Thursday and Saturday, or Thursday through Saturday, and then on Sunday is when they take them off so the guys can focus on, obviously the final round. And what you see is the scoring like drop dramatically, and it's all because of pin placements. Like, the pin placements on Thursday, Friday, Saturday are ridiculous. They're so easy. Always in the middle of the green, usually on like not a challenging part of the green if they have like severe contours, which PGA West stadium course does not. But when you get the Pebble and all those other ones, like you'll see the pin placements are on the easier side of the green. And on Sunday, they really tuck them or they put them in a hard spot. And it's just so much harder for these guys to score than it is, the round before. Or I guess in the Amex's case, whenever you played the stadium course, for your round. And the market really does not react that much, or at least they did not last year. I guess I'm sharing this now, so we'll see what happens. But it was like pretty much the same number. You'll get like a group score -1 or +1. And if it was like plus 310 for a bogey or +1 for the group on Saturday, it might drop to something a little bit worse, but not much at all. And clearly there's a huge edge because, again, the pin location is totally different. It's a totally different hole if it is challenging, if it's tucked compared to in the middle of the green. Let me see. I have one of these models. I'm trying to figure out how to work this thing. I think I got to share my screen for something else. All right, let's see. I had a simple just par 5 scoring because that is going to be a huge factor this week. Let me find it. Which is another, like, the Amex has so many stigmas of the tournament in itself. Like, one, it's a putting contest, and two, it's long shots. And I tweeted it out earlier. Everyone's just ignoring the fact that it's a totally different field. Like, when was the last time a world number 1 played at the Amex? I guess it was John Rahm. He was number 1 when he won, but he's probably like 2 or 3. But he was like the only guy in that field. So it's a completely different field, like, makeup. You can't just compare that. And then another thing too is, like, I looked back at the metrics for putting. I think the year in 2024, which was the year Dunlap won, he was, I want to say, 18th in strokes gained putting, not high. Or I guess not, first, which is what you would expect if everyone's deeming this thing, as a putting contest. And then the year that Rahm won it, which was 2023, man, I don't even see him on the top. I gotta dig down to see where he was. Let me see it. He lost strokes. John Rahm lost strokes putting at the Amex. And I'm probably just pulling data from the stadium course. He lost a full stroke putting the year he won at -27. That is insane. And everyone's saying, oh, it's a putting contest. Well, clearly not. It's obviously that's a small sample. I'm just going through 2 years, but let's go to 2022. Okay, now we're getting a little bit back to the normal. Hudson Swafford won, gained 3.2 strokes putting. That's 3rd in the field. And then let's just do one more just to hopefully solidify my point here. Siwoo. I mean, there's no way Siwoo gained a ton of strokes putting, right? Let's see. Yeah, Siwoo Kim. First, gained 1.1 or 1.19, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9th in the field. All right. So there you go. I mean, I guess that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year sample size. 2 of the guys had a NBA Jam hot putter. 2 of them was and one of them lost an entire stroke on the green. So that just goes to show I don't think it actually is truly a quote unquote putting contest. You got to gain on the strokes. And back to what I was saying is the par 5 is where you're going to make your money. If a player doesn't score in the par 5, it's done. You kiss it goodbye. There's no chance he's going to even finish remotely close in the top 10. It's massive. So let me see if I can share this now. Let's see, share this tab instead. Let me check my stream, make sure it looks good. All right. Getting the hang of it a little bit here. Gosh, it's so slow, though. My goodness. I'm going to pull it over here. Can you guys still see this? Let me see. All right, yeah, you can still see it. All right, yeah, so just simple. All I did was take par 5 efficiency, and this is not going to give you any implied win probability. It's just giving you a final score. This is on the stats engine. Because we put this in here because like the thing that drives me nuts about other sites when it comes to and the reason we built Sharpside Golf is because I found pain points that I thought could easily be a fix in the market and is needed. And one of the things that always drives me nuts is people like post a model and it's not it doesn't give you an implied win probability. So it's either something that you're using just to find who you think is going to be a good fit that week or who you think is going to be a good play that week, but there's no price discovery. Like you have no idea what a good price is, or Scotty Scheffler is going to be number one at the top of most models, as he should be. But does that mean he warrants an implied win probability of 25% or a top 5 or top 10, percentage of 60%, whatever it is? You have no idea. There's no price discovery. So that's why we built the model dashboard. The stat engine, I like the idea of making a model just so you can see like, this is going to be key. I know this from, past tournaments. This is predictive. Can I go find a player who might not show up as a huge edge in my, base model just because of user error? Maybe I'm not putting in the correct metrics, a ton of stuff. So it's just like, this is just something to spotlight, so to speak, or find a guy who might not jump off the page if you run any type of win model that has implied win prob or anything like that. So I did 50-50, which these are obviously correlated too. So anyone who's sharp out there, don't come barking at me. I just wanted to, part 5 is paramount. You have to score in part 5. I've said it so many times, and I'm sorry if you're a member because I've been blasting it off, but you have to score in the par 5. So I wanted to make sure I got some type of reading, but I didn't want just one list, and this data is coming from the last 36 rounds played. So obviously Pearson Coody, Michael Thorpe. Seeing if there's anyone down here who I would, because par 5 is so funny. If you think of a casual fan, everyone thinks a bomber is awesome with par 5s. And that could be true, obviously, but it also could not be true. Like, I remember years back when I first started doing this, Dustin Johnson was not an efficient par 5 player at the time. I can't remember what year this was, but if you would tell someone where does Dustin Johnson kill it, everyone would say par 5s. But for that year, and I'm sorry, I can't remember what it was. He was not. So let's see. Cantlay being that far down actually does surprise me. It shouldn't, because I bet on him so much last year that I should know that he's actually not that good par 5s. But actually, Akshay is the one that's jumping, and everyone loves Akshay this week at that number at 80-1 or whatever he's at now. That's crazy. I thought he'd be way up higher. Yeah, pretty much everyone else, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Brian Campbell, Matthew Pavon. Actually, whoa, our king pot eaters down here. That is surprising. What? Let me check this. See what I got my own numbers for my own historical stuff. Wow, I cannot believe that. Yeah, that's nuts. Which I thought he was going to live. Whatever happened to that? Everyone just decided that wasn't a thing. No longer going. Or I guess he must have turned down the bag. I don't know. But yeah, this is just one. I mean, this is I posted this. It's pretty simple. I wouldn't call it a model per se or anything that's going to be game changing, but it's just giving you some type of score. So there you go. Let's go back to let's see if I can switch over easily. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I guess I'll go to the top 5 here. Let's see what we got over here. If there's any big changes. Because this is where, outright, you're going to see bigger numbers be different. Just because, they're all long shots. We're looking at the market where a guy's listed at 125-1. I'm trying to find a good example. Like Jacob Bridgman, this is a pretty good one. 75-1, 100-1. Well, if you go actually type in that implied win prob, and I'm not talking about we're not devigging anything here. It's just strictly what is this number probability of winning. Well, 75-1 is 1.32. So not even 1.5%. 100-1 is, let's see, 100-1 is 99%. So you're looking at a 0.4% change. And that's a pretty dramatic jump, right? 25 to 1 to, or where's Bridgman? Yeah, 75 to 1 to 100 to 1. But when you go, if you can find a huge difference here, and I, again, like you use Bet Online as your source of truth, quote unquote, that's where you're going to find a bigger edge, just simply because the number, like it's going to be a much higher implied probability change. Like let's find one here. Like Bob, let's see what Bob is. 500 to 1 or 5 to 1. I keep saying that. Plus 500 to 1. That's 16%, 16.67% implied win probability, 6 to 1, 14%. So I mean, 2% change, and that's, going from 5 to 6 to 1. So if you can find one that's like massive, like if someone that, which it happens, especially at Open, if you look on Mondays, find one on Bet Online that's, trading at 2 to 3 to 1. Find DraftKings that's, 4 to 5, 5 to 6 to 1, which like you'll say, oh, that never happens. It happens pretty much once a month. You're going to find something like that. You just got to be looking at it on Mondays. So yeah, I cannot see any comments and my screens are like so slow. So if someone's asking me anything, I'm sorry, I'll get to it. Gotta figure out a way to actually like read your guys' stuff, especially since I'm live on like 5 different channels. But yeah, I'm calling this like Market Mondays. Basically, just go over it. I'll probably give out like a free play there, here and there in the outright market, especially for tournaments that don't mean much. And then I want to do something to incorporate like the email and the newsletter I send out, along with the thread and stuff, and just go through some of the more some of the shit that I put in there that I can't elaborate on. So it's like I wish I could go in depth and tell you why, X, Y, and Z is important, or I wish I could elaborate on something that I might have had to either make it smaller because it doesn't fit in the thread, or make it flow better because it's, at the end of the day, it's still a newsletter. I want you guys to read it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to figure out something for that too, just to get like some type of betting of golf content that's not just strictly on like, this is the price of the guy, here's what he opened, here's what he didn't. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Good luck. If you want a free trial on the just basic tools, so like you'll get this, I believe you get the stat engine betting model, all the matchup tools, and AI Caddy. I think you get that too. That use the code free FREE for basic. Do it for basic weekly, and it's going to give you a week free trial. So you get it for the AmEx, and build your own shit. Be sharp, win some money. Yeah. And anything else? If you have like specific questions, DM me. I'll get to them at some point. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Good luck.